All right, it's on to Iowa State. It's Cyclone Week. It's hate week for the Iowa State Cyclones. What do we have for these guys? What's coming up this week for them? Well, they have the top defense in the Big 12, I believe. They do not turn the ball over. They do not get penalized. Very, very disciplined team that we're facing, led by Joe Lanning on defense, a former quarterback who now plays linebacker. Think about that. How is that even possible? What do you got for us, Jay?
I was going to say, you know who they remind me of?
Who?
They remind me of old school Kansas State.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Joel Klatt and Kansas State.
You win the turnover battle and you possess the crap out of the ball, so the other team doesn't have a chance to score.
Always. And you believe you're going to win the whole time. And Matt Campbell has those boys believing they're going to win every time they step on the turf.
The way they're not like Kansas State is they can't run the ball like, Kansas State traditionally can. Matter of fact, I was looking down through some of the stats and some of the games. I keep thinking, how in the world do they pull some of this stuff off?
They didn't even score in the second half against TCU, but they won 14-7.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the thing. Sports is, I'm not going to overly simplify it, but a lot of it is mental. Sports is very, very mental. When you shoot a basketball, they always say you have to see it going in when you release it from your hands. And it's the same thing in football and other sports. Believing in yourself for it doesn't cover over all, but it goes a long way. And what you're seeing with Iowa State is they really, really believe in themselves, believe in their coach, and believe in the system right now.
Yeah, and it's working for them because they're now first in the Big 12, 4-1 in conference, 6-2 overall. We're 5-3, 3-2 in the conference, and they're coming to Morgantown. But guess who's favored?
I know.
WVU -3 last I saw.
Yeah.
So that speaks to what people recognize as just being a bad game against Oklahoma State. They recognize that we are a good team. Iowa State's probably a little overrated at 14, maybe a lot overrated at 14. And that West Virginia has the ability and should really beat Iowa State. I'm fully expecting us to beat Iowa State because I just don't believe in them, which is probably why Oklahoma lost them and which is probably why TCU lost them because people just don't believe in them. When you don't believe in a team, hey, let me say what's up real quick. What's up, Jason? Jason's in the building. Devin's in the building. Arthur's in the building. Tim's in the building. These are all the people watching on Facebook Live because we're doing Facebook Live and YouTube Live while we're doing our show. But anyway, when you don't believe in the team you're playing, sometimes you don't give effort. The difference for us is we just played against Oklahoma State and we're completely devoid of effort. And I think it's going to get beaten out of the players this week,
I hope.
Metaphorically.
I'm just saying, like, sometimes you just need magic in games. And that's what Iowa State's had. I mean, look at it. They had, 255 total yards against TCU. Not only that, TCU turned the ball over 2 times inside of Iowa State's 10-yard line. Tip my cap to them for getting it done and playing ball. I'm just saying,
winning is winning. A win is a win.
And even their rushing game, they don't rush for that many yards. It's not like they're going to run through us. So if we come in focused and prepared, and if we don't, there should. I mean, if there's any way we don't show up for this game, then I'm with everybody else who's going a little bit too far.
No, they made some big shakeups. By the way, they made some big shakeups on. As far as the depth chart is concerned, they switched Lingenfelter as where he's backing up. They made a lot of changes really. So I think that I don't think personnel was the only problem. I think attitude was the biggest issue, but they did make some changes to the depth chart. So we'll see if that makes any difference going forward.
But even all right, so that was TCU. That's Iowa State against TCU, where they didn't really overwhelm. What I love is Iowa State's defense. I mean, they're legitimate defense. They gave up 24 points to Oklahoma in the first half. And the second half, they played ball and shut them down for just 7 points. So like I said, they're kind of like that old school Kansas State mold, play defense, win the turnover battle. But I feel like our team should be locked in this week. If we're not locked in this week, then we're not going to be locked in. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, you're right. This week tells us what it is because it's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get up. And right now, we got smacked.
All right, Rocky.
We got smacked down to the turf, smacked down to the earth. If we thought we were something, we were shown that we can quickly become nothing last Saturday. So this is our chance to show who and what we are and what we're made of. And if we don't do it this week, like you said, then we just don't have it. We don't have the fortitude to compete in the Big 12 this year, and we'll have to go back to the drawing board. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. If you listen to the coaches, if you listen to the players, I think they felt embarrassed. I think they realized what happened, and I think they don't want it to ever happen again. So
hold up. Can we get props? And I know we're on the wrong segment, and I missed it, but I said it one time. Can we please collectively, as a whole state, give some props to that block punt for a touchdown? When's the last time we blocked a punt? I was going nuts.
2013, I believe.
Did we? All right. Well, we blocked one. That felt like Miami. I don't want to bring that up.
No, I'm about to say, come on, man. Come on, man. You're going to bring up Miami.
I'm just saying, it could have been more hype. I saw, I think Judge Jennings said that Mike Gundy said that it's louder. It was as loud as any stadium he's been in.
Hyperbole.
All right. Well, still, I don't care. I'll take it. Thank you. Make me feel good. It don't matter.
Yeah, that's right. It don't matter. It didn't matter. It could be as loud as it wanted to be. It didn't matter.
I'm just saying it was amazing. I want to give props to our special teams for blocking that punt. I didn't want to overlook it. I just wanted to give props.
Well, hopefully they bring some of that magic again. I felt like we punted pretty well. We kicked off pretty well. I thought we did a good job on special teams. Everybody's complaining about special teams, much maligned. I thought we did a pretty good job on special teams.
I did too.
I thought our defense was better than the 50 points they gave up, and I think they're going to be better this week.
Me too.
I really think they're going to be better this week, especially if Xavier Preston's healthy, and he was listed as a starter on the depth chart. So coming into Iowa State, we should have him ready to go.
Have we heard anything on Xavier Preston?
No, which is good news. Jason Riggs asks, what's going on with Justin Crawford? Justin Crawford is ready to play ball. He's a tough guy. He's ready to go. The offensive line needs to be more physical. The running backs need to be more physical, and we've got to do better than 60 yards on the ground rushing. If we're going to beat Iowa State, that's what we have to do. Because they're going to do the same formula everybody's been doing, which is load the box. Everybody's been loading the box. You load the box, and you make us throw to beat you. You make us be perfect. And we just have to be physical. We just got to be tough. Some of that's on play design. Some of that's on toughness.
I was just about to say, I'm not letting Spav get away from this. I love Spav. Love his swag. I love, what he's been able to do for us this year so far. But I think a lot of it, some of it was on play design. Early on, there's a few times I saw there was 8 guys in the box, and I was sitting beside what's his name?
Ross.
Brad Ross. My bad, Brad. I was sitting beside Brad Ross, and I looked over at him, and I told him, I was like, what I love about that is they just stacked 8 people in the box, and we just ran for 6 yards. That bodes well for us for the rest of this game.
Yeah, it didn't.
So that's the reason why I feel like some of it was play calling, where we kind of just bogged ourselves down, and then
try to get cute.
So, and I honestly
I will say this: Will Grier has a lot of flexibility at the line. Just like Skylar did. That's one of the things that quarterbacks like about the offense that Dana runs and now that Spav is running. So that means that in the huddle, or the whatever you want to call it that we do at the line, Will Grier is allowed to change the play. So you don't really know what Spav called versus what was run.
Also, do we have any trick plays in our playbook? Because what they always say is when you can't beat them straight up.
We ran trick plays. Tevin Bush.
That was a trick play. Wasn't that the Tavon Austin play?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a trick play.
That ain't no trick play. Yeah. I thought maybe I missed some.
I mean, it's not a straight up play. You don't expect. How many people run that? How many people do that play?
Yeah, I see people doing it in the NFL now. Okay.
Yeah. So yes. How often though?
It's not a trick play. It's a little. They consider it a pass. All I'm saying is they say you run trick plays when you can't beat them straight up. Well, you know what? We couldn't beat them straight up. Where in the world was a trick play? The whole time I said, we're going to run a trick play here soon. We're going to run a trick play here soon. Because we had to, because we couldn't do anything. We couldn't get our offense started. And it just never came, so I don't know.
Well, hopefully we won't need them against Iowa State.
True.
But I really think we're going to see a different team. I'm excited for it. We're excited for it. Mountaineer Nation needs it. There's nothing like the only way to get over a loss is to play again and win. So it's time. Let's go, Mountaineers.
Raspy Boys!
Why we hate Iowa State. It's the Raspy Voice Kids, your boy Brandon Phoenix, known as I Also Hate Pitt.
And JM Fiend, Jeremy Phoenix, little brother in the building.
We are ready to talk about Iowa State. The Cyclones come to Morgantown as 3-point dogs, but we're not really focused on that because we talked about it during our preview. We're talking about why we hate Iowa State. And I'll tell you, my first initial reaction to this is it's not a long list. We kind of own the rivalry. We're 4-1 against them since we joined the Big 12. And the only thing I could think of off the top of my head was the Big 12 championship game last year. Terrible. Couldn't believe we lost to them. And, of course, they did nothing in the NCAA tournament. whereas we went to the Sweet 16 because we do our business like that. The Cyclones have terrible colors, and they have terrible uniforms, and they're the second best little brother of their whole entire state. Iowa is the king. Iowa State is not. What do you got for us, Jay?
No, that's just what you hit on the head. My thing is, I like to start out, I didn't have a whole lot of reasons. And then I thought about it, and I do. Do you guys remember last year? And we're going to go to the Big 12 championship game. We beat them 2 times in the regular season. And then we get to the postseason, and they beat us. And they win the championship. For me, that sickens because we're a basketball school, and I know they are too. I can't stand Iowa State, partially because of that. But the other reason why, and this is the truth, before we ever came to this conference, the reason why I can't stand Iowa State is because of how often they lose to Iowa. Since we've been in this conference, they've lost 4 of the last 5 times. If you look at this year, look at Iowa State.
Yep.
They beat TCU. They beat Oklahoma.
Yep.
They're able to beat our conference. They're able to look like stout on defense. And then they give up 48 points in OT to Iowa. To
the
it's
Hawkeyes.
No, it's a complex. It's mental. But the biggest thing is it's hurting our conference. You can't beat these out-of-conference teams, but then when you play all big dogs, you can knock them off. That's my thing. If I had full faith that they would go in and win a big-time bowl game, I wouldn't hate them. But the reason why I do hate them is all you're doing is taking away from our conference right now.
That's right.
Because you can't beat the Hawkeyes.
Never. They're owned by Kirk Ferentz. That's what it should say. The president of Iowa State is Kirk Ferentz. And it's so sickening. What, you can't handle pink locker rooms? That's too much for you? Get it together, guys. I'm so sick of this. What, you can't handle their waving to their sick children? That's too much for you? Get it together, guys. Win the football game. I'm tired of this. I'm so tired of this.
You know another thing I hate about Iowa State?
What?
What's your team name?
Iowa State?
Yeah, what's their team name?
Cyclones.
What's their mascot? Stop it! Stop it! How can you be a school, you're named the Cyclones, but your mascot is a cardinal? What sense does that make? What sense does that make? They don't even go together.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason.
Birds can't fly in no cyclone.
That's part of the reason why you get whipped by Iowa. Because I don't believe in sports guys, but if there were sports guys, they'd be looking down on you for naming your team one thing and having a totally different mascot. Stop it.
Yeah, it's like Stanford, okay? Who do you think you are? What do you think you are? We're tired of it. Be something. If you're going to beat our guys, be something. When you come to Morgantown, we got something for you. We're tired of it, and we got something for you.
That's what I think. Here's the biggest thing, Iowa State. Beat Iowa. Please. Lord, please beat Iowa.
For once in your life.
God.
Why we hate Iowa State. That's a wrap. We'll see you next week.
Raspy voice.
All right, we want to do our shout-outs for the week. Sean Thomas, I saw you at the game, man, leaving the stadium. Showed mad love. Got to do a video. I Also Hate Pitt together. Appreciate your support, listening, watching, following. Thank you so much for that. We also had a great time at Owen Schmidt Saloon. The fried pepperoni rolls are straight up bomb. Okay, if you get a chance, it takes a little longer to get your food on a Saturday night, but it's delicious. And they also had a good oatmeal stout. I believe it was an oatmeal stout. It might have been a coffee stout. Whatever it was delicious. Got this shirt from Owen Schmidt himself. Wonderful, wonderful venue. Got to check it out if you get a chance. Pat McAfee, big ups to you. Shouting us out on Twitter. We appreciate your love, giving us the shout out, the Raspy Voice Kids, and our merch. So if you want a shirt, rvk.bigcartel.com. You saw that shirt on our main man, Charles, DJ Chocolate Thunder, and Teddy Bear Hayes, rocking the Mountain Greer with the RVK on the back, rvk.bigcartel.com. Again, we want to show love to Gresso's in Columbus. Next weekend, we'll be there for the Kansas State game at the game starts at 3:30. We will be there probably around 1 o'clock as we take on the Wildcats. That game will be televised on ESPN2. Is that correct? Or maybe they haven't said what channel it'll be on yet, but it'll be at 3:30. And also, we want to give our main men up there, John McCory, up there at Jack Doyle's Tavern and Bar and Restaurant, whatever you want to call it. It's Jack Doyle's, okay, in New York City.
Jack Doyle's.
November 25th, we'll be there for the Oklahoma game, doing our show live, the Raspy Voice Kids. JN Fiend has some shout-outs of his own.
I want to give a big shout out to Brad Ross, man. With them box seats, he came through. He hit me up. We had a great time, and it's great being beside. No matter where you sit in Morgantown, it's gonna be great. Brad Ross, man, it was just a really good time. I want to give a shout out to you. Also, Coach Snow, me and Chris from WB Nation, we ran into you. It was a great time talking. So big shout out to Coach Snow on Twitter.
All right. Appreciate everybody showing us love. We love y'all. We'll talk to you next week. Another live show.